Hi guys and welcome to our World War One trench. So today we'll start with the French side of the trenches of the World War One. As you can see here, there is some artillery that will help the French and the British win win the war by shooting toward the Germans. Also, we can see a tank, a British and French tank, which will also help in the war. The reason this trench is so small is because the British and the French believed that they were not gonna stay for so long and that they were gonna win the war. So that's why this trench is so little, because the British made it very poorly. And you can see water here because there is actually no wooden path in order to trespass, so they made it all of mud that will make the water to accumulate and bring diseases just such as athlete's foot to the soldiers. Here, as you can see, is a soldier with armory. In this case, it's a letter armory representing the the French. Here, you can see the beds of of the of the French soldiers. In real life, there was no beds, but there were only blankets. But here in Minecraft, we cannot make blankets, so here's a representation of it. And there were underground in order to do not get a surprise attack in case there was a bomb shooting or a cannon of the tanks in the in towards them. As you can see, there is some food and there is some armory and there is some dynamite in order for the artillery to work. There are more beds. Here is the area where the main general would work and sleep in order to have a good rest. Here are some soldiers of the French army. Now we will proceed to No Man's Land. No Man's Land, basically there's nothing more than holes and very little grass because of the war. As you can see here, there is some fire because of the bombs that were shot from the German tanks. And here is some water representing the rain that was falling in in the in the on the ground. And here is where the water accumulated. Here is more fire from the bombs. Trees were cut and sometimes they were broken because of the bombings and because of the fire they would burn. There were more flowers. There were basically nothing. Also, in both trenches there were spikes in order for the people to slow down and do not attack fastly the trenches when they were coming toward the no man's land. Now we will proceed to the German trench. The German trench is much bigger because Germans knew that they were gonna stay for for a longer time, and they decided to make their trenches more developed, in which would have electricity and better in a better state. Also, they would have wooden floors in order for the mud to do not get affected so much. So here is the front line of the trench warfare. So here is where the people would shoot their arrows. Oh, sorry, their arrows. Their guns towards the French trench. So from this point, we will get to the support trench. Here are some German soldiers. Here is another bed, which in this case it's underground because in order to do not fall. Here are some stairs in order to get to the tank and to the artillery. They were always behind, so that way they would get much more aim and they would get much more distance for the trench to fall because they needed a lot of distance. This will get to the machine gun and to a reserve trench. We will proceed to a reserve trench. Here there are more beds, and here there is a furnace in order the German people to cook, because they had electricity, so they had a better lifestyle. Here are some books representing that the soldiers also had lives, and they sometimes recorded all they had, all what was happening in the war. So in case there was they could send their messages to their wives and to their family, and also to write books about their war in case there is a historical time about it. This room will go to the frontline second base. So this is the second base of the trench German warfare. Here is another front line in order to attack to the French from a more closer look. Also, as you can see here, the Germans also had a room in order to discuss and make their plans in order to win against the French and the British. Also, the Germans had an armory in which they will guard their armory and their weapons. We will now proceed to the machine gun. So here the machine guns, they had some, in this case there are arrows, but this in real life there were armory. So here is a machine gun. In real life this is not so big, it is much more small, but due to the Minecraft game it is not possible to make a machine gun. So this thing will start throwing arrows toward the toward the French side. As you can see in the block that I am pointing at, there is nothing, and when I pull out the lever there will be arrows towards it. As you can see, the machine gun works. To finalize, Germans also had artillery in order to attack towards the French and the British, and they also had tanks that were not so powerful, but they were efficient to get to the other side and to trespass all these spikes that were crossing across, that were getting in their path. Also, here is a German flag representing that this is the German side, and on the British French side there is the French side representing, and there is also the French side of the trench. Thank you.